All right, we're live. Kyle is coming eventually. We'll just play by ear. So I just want to say to those who are watching this on our Patreon as well, if you see my camera go away, well, and for the YouTube people as well, if you see my camera go away, I'm coming back. I'm in a cottage. I'm on a different kind of setup in the middle of our move, but we're in the general geographical location where we're going to be staying for the next 5 years at least. Oh, there's Kyle. He's coming. If you see me do things like that, just ignore it. There he is, the man.
Sorry. I was here early and there were some technical difficulties, so
that tends to happen. Well, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you, Kyle.
Because it has.
Yeah.
It has. It's nice to see you again. You too, Ryan.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for throwing me in there too.
Ryan, are you in Ottawa yet, or are you just in
we're just outside of Ottawa at a cottage by the lake. We're here for a few days, then we're going back to a hotel for a few days while we wait for our furniture and effects to arrive on Monday the 19th. So we're still going to be living out of a suitcase for the next 7 days. So we're getting there. It's all paid for by the military, and it's all pensionable time still, so whatever.
Hey, that's not too shabby.
No, it's all paid for. It's all paid for.
Yeah,
meals,
I would
gas,
want to be. I would want to travel faster than that, though. I'd be like, I want to be there already.
We're ready. Yeah. We're ready. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of ready, let's start the show.
It's another side that wants to take more, it wants to go that one more round, because going that one more round when you don't think you can. That's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me today we have Kyle. He's back, and of course we have Katie. Welcome back, K&K.
Hola.
Hey.
So, Kyle, we missed you. We said before the show officially started that we did miss you, but we want to say thank you to Jared, who did a great job stepping in for Kyle. Kyle, I don't know if you heard the episode that you missed, but it was really a fun episode where we broke down a YouTube video that basically claimed that Mickey was a racist, and the person who made the video gave his points as to why he doesn't like the Mickey character anymore, because Mickey is not that he is a racist, but he was originally designed to be one, and because of that reason, he's no longer a fan of almost the Rocky franchise, it seems like.
He had some other points that we massively disagreed with as well.
Oh, wait, you disagreed with him?
We went through it point by point. No, not necessarily about that, but
okay. So we're gonna get to his. He sent us a voicemail in response to our. Well, it's he sent us a voicemail. I'll let you guys hear it, decide what you think of him, and all that good stuff. Okay, so I have that queued up and ready to go. I mean, I could play it now if you want. It's here. I've got it queued up, ready to go. So again, if you haven't heard the episode, it's episode 14 of Rocky 2, episode 14. Again, the gentleman's name and his YouTube channel's name, I should say, is EZ. That's EZ or EZ, like letter E, letter Z together. Maniac on YouTube. That's the name of his channel. I forget his name that he uses on Facebook. Again, we went to his Facebook profile. It's a fake profile. I've got a picture of him that I'm going to show you when I play the voicemail. So he heard our video. He gave a quick response.
This Jared guy, is he the guy that lost like 400 pounds eating like 2 Subway sandwiches?
That's him. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure that's him.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. He doesn't have a proclivity for that anymore. So Jared, and he has his own podcast. Again, check out Jared's podcast, Podcasting in the Hyperspace 25th Century.
Ryan, it's the Hyperspace Podcasting in the 25th Century.
All right.
Kyle, there was a bum to be recorded.
Oh, okay.
Add a number to the bum count.
Now.
Yeah.
So I don't forget.
So there's the gentleman there. That's the YouTube gentleman there. That's his picture on the YouTube channel. That's Easy Maniac. So if you are listening to this on our audio feed and you don't see this, Easy Maniac, he looks like a debonair, or what's that word? Or like he's got a goatee. Debonair, thank you. And he, he's kind of got a coy look to his face.
Sort of like Kevin from one of those boy bands. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Sure.
Kevin
in sync Boys.
Either
or something?
Backstreet Boys or in sync. One of them had a Kevin, I think,
Okay.
and that's who I think he looks.
You know, he looks like a Kevin.
Yeah.
All right, so here's his voicemail. You ready?
Hello, and thank you for reacting to my YouTube video. You guys were very thorough in your critique. I am however offended you thought I was using AI. So I thought I would call you and prove to you I am human, like you. Mickey was a racist. Sorry that you guys are too, as you defended his actions. Please tell all your listeners to come to my YouTube channel Easy Maniac. See you then.
All right.
I thought.
Okay, then.
He went on with. Sorry.
It would be. I can't even think of an example, Kyle, but it would be like the sky is blue, but also it is not. You know, it would be something like that.
It was horrible. Again, listen to episode 14, the fantastic breakdown. It did go a little bit long, not because of our breakdown per se, but his video was incredibly boring and misinformed and untrue. So, all right, but he wanted us to respond.
Think it was trolling, though? Do you think he was just making that video to troll?
Well, he's making it to try and get attention for his channel. Right?
For the record, he hasn't responded. We hope he does. You know, we're taking the mick out of him a little bit because, you know, like it's a public forum and it's a public YouTube channel and video. And we thought it was not a very good argument that he gave towards Mick. So that's, to be fair, we gave our counterpoints, I think, very well during our episode.
Good job with your impersonation of Easy Maniac, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now let's get to some real mail. Katie, you got some real mail for us?
We do. The first one's from Baz. He says, "Hi all. It's been a while since I last emailed, part because I've been a bit mentally irregular. I like that. Recently, and part because I'm totally out of sync with recordings. In parentheses, I don't see when the live recordings. He doesn't get notified, or he doesn't see the notifications when the live recordings are happening for some reason." He goes on to say, "Anyway, my reason for emailing was a couple of episodes ago. You were discussing the Win Rocky top and questioning where it may have come from.
The T-shirt, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, a better listener." Like Greg the Second would have.
Now, why do you call? No, sorry, he said Greg the Second. I wonder what about Greg? Which is the one that doesn't like us anymore?
Greg the First. We haven't gotten one from either Greg. So,
well, Greg the Second, I think he just pod faded out on us, which is fine. But Greg the First stopped. Like he made a conscious choice.
Well, I love he's got all these like little inside.
I know.
This is great, Baz. Yeah,
I love it.
So a better listener like Greg the Second would have researched this, but I'm sure Adrian gave it to him, which is what I thought. So yes, I'm with you on that, Baz. He says, "It's my understanding that it was canon, but never used, and it was in the brown bag with curtains and Christmas decorations when she gave him butt kiss." Was this like a deleted scene that he's referring to? I don't know what he's talking about.
Yes, that's right. There is a deleted photo, and I don't think there's or film where it shows them grocery shopping or something where Adrian actually pulls the shirt out of a paper bag. That's right.
I didn't know that existed. That's cool.
It does exist, and I will see again if you're listening to this on our audio feed. Check out our YouTube channel because if I've kept this in, I will find that picture and put it on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome. So he goes on to say, "Ryan, I have to say, I totally thought the guys that were calling Rocky out outside the gym were employed by Team Apollo."
Yes, thank you. Somebody responded. I'm sure Baz can't be the only one. You know what I mean? If it's him and me, there's got to be others. So they were employed by the Apollo team. Totally agree. We're on the same page, brother.
But then he also recognizes that you guys are wrong because he says it's totally changed the film for me now that they're not. Ha ha ha.
I don't know. I should have deleted that line.
So yeah, maybe, your 10-year-old brains or something just thought that. Yeah.
Maybe.
So Baz
still
then
sticking to it, but
he says, "I cannot leave without pissing some comment." Oh, sorry. I'm having a hard time reading tonight. Sorry, everyone.
It's late. We're doing it a little bit late. This is later recording. So I apologize to you guys if you're
No.
It's been a long work day for you guys.
"I cannot leave without passing some comment on Creed 3. While it's not a bad film, it did annoy me that there had been some clear erasing of Rocky. Also, every Rocky film I've seen and rewatched, at the end, I've always wanted to box my dad, a friend, or now my son. Haha. After Creed 3, I went on and made some ham and eggs." Yeah, I think all of our Team Rocky Balboa is sort of all on the same page with it. Just not being, doesn't leave you feeling any.
It's a good film. But I don't know where it fits in the Rocky universe. It's tough.
Yeah. Last but not least, I promise, I was recently telling a group of kids I coach about the importance of never giving up. And it's not about how hard you hit, you know the rest. But basically, it got me thinking that I've always felt that Rocky, particularly the first one, was a story of a guy that never gave up and kept fighting. This has gone on to inspire a life motto for myself and millions of others. But get ready for this. Is it a myth? Prior to him getting his 1,000,000-to-1 shot, the brief glimpse of his life that we get to see, he appears to be in a rut, living hand to mouth with no real aspiration to change this. If the 1,000,000-to-1 shot had not come along, would he have remained another bum from the neighborhood, not living the life lessons he's inspired in so many others? I do often. Sorry, this has gotten a little deeper than I intended, haha, but I do wonder if Stallone, if his early struggles gets merged with the start of Rocky. Just be interested in your views, if any. Anyway, sorry for the bore of email. Keep punching, Baz. This is interesting. He says in parentheses, the 60-plus-year-old truck driver from Australia, as I've been referred to in previous episodes. I'm actually a 40-year-old mental health nurse from the UK. Did someone confuse him with someone else?
If anything, it was probably me. I'm a little bit punchy sometimes.
Oh
I
my gosh.
apologize.
Well, so sorry,
Yeah,
Baz.
he's from like Yorkshire or somewhere.
Well, Australians, British people, they're the same thing. They just have better teeth. That's all.
And 40-year-old nurse is the same as a 65-year-old truck driver.
That's right. It's about the same.
It's the same. Do you guys have thoughts about what he brings up about the inspirational piece of Rocky's life being?
Yes. Rocky would have been another bum from the neighborhood if he didn't get that shot. I don't see any evidence that he would have turned his life around necessarily. He may have improved a bit. He may have. It's hard to say. There could have been some event in his life otherwise that would have kind of... Sometimes something happens that changes your perspective. And I think in this case, it was a fight with Apollo Creed that changed his life. And I think sometimes in life when you give advice like that, part of it comes because that's what you did successfully, but sometimes advice comes because you wish you would have done things differently too. For Rocky, he lived both till before the first fight with Creed. He probably regretted where his life had gone. He turned it around by following his own advice. He was in a good position to give it because of that.
It was that catalyst of him being chosen out of a book randomly because of his name that he became what he became. He would have maybe been a good citizen in the neighborhood, maybe still helped out at the gym, or who knows, he would have been, but he would have definitely just been another bum from the neighborhood. He might not have got Adrian, to be honest with you.
I see where Baz and where you guys are coming from. It's unlikely that he would have gone on to become a big superstar. No. It's clear we are shown that he's unhappy with his life. He is in a rut and he doesn't like that. He's trying to make changes. Ultimately, it's really Adrian that makes the biggest difference. I think that his life would have become drastically different just by him having the relationship with Adrian.
The relationship with Adrian pre-existed him getting the offer to fight. It's not like Adrian was with him after he became kind of quasi-famous. She'd be with him no matter what. Even if like that fight fell through, that wouldn't have... His relationship with Adrian would have changed too.
I think the fight accelerated. I think that journey accelerated the relationship. They could have still formed one or whatever, but at the very least, it was accelerated because of what they went through together.
The thing I wonder is what Rocky would have done for a living had he not fought. He's with Adrian, and the collecting job cannot be his longtime job. It's a job where you're basically guaranteed to go to prison or get killed at some point. You say Rocky's a collector or something like that, he's collecting from the wrong person, it shoots him. Or he busts one too many thumbs and then does jail time. It's hard to get careers once you have a criminal record, which he, I guess, already had, according to Rocky 5. And he didn't seem cut out for like the 9-to-5 type of job. But then that's also because he had a taste of fighting at a high level too. He probably would have struggled to find himself a career that he actually liked. He might have been pretty unhappy otherwise.
Based on what we see, he would have continued to collect until maybe Adrian got pregnant or something, because we still see that's not a job that a family man, at least Rocky, is willing to do. But with Adrian's help and support, he could have gone on to become a good fighter, as Mickey says. But instead, you went on to have a waste of life breaking legs for this mobster. He'd still make the transition to a fighter, just not a super famous one.
He's kind of old. That's the only problem. He's 30.
That's true. That's true.
There's like fighters in their 30s that they're good fighters. So it's hard to say, but he's a little old to be starting from the bottom in fighting.
That is a good point.
Yeah. Tim did a great comment as well in our chat. He said his feelings are maybe not world champion, but he was already beginning that relationship with Adrian. So he agrees with the assessment, of course, that Adrian and him would have been together. All right. Great discussions, Baz. That's why we like these emails. What's the next one?
The next one is from Rob. His comments are based on episode 4 of Rocky 2. Hello, Ryan, Kyle, and Katie. First off, I want to thank you for all the work you put into watching the movies, editing the shows, and popping off trivia and going into deep discussion about what's happening on screen. I work from home and I often find myself watching along.
Oh, so he's a YouTube guy.
Yeah. He enjoys the woman's perspective, especially on the fashion choices of the 70s. Thanks, Rob. Sometimes I feel like I overdo it and people are all bored. I'm glad you like it.
No, people are bored for other reasons, not for that. Yeah, I think Rob's also definitely, if he's not a new listener, let us know, Rob, if you're a long-time listener or newish, because I've never seen, I don't want to say his last name because he gives it, but I've never seen the last name before, like anywhere on the socials. So he's new to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Rob goes on to say, as a Rocky fan and podcast lover, there aren't many options to hear people talk about the movies. Getting to the episode where Rocky does commercials, and you all were discussing some athletes in real life, and I believe Katie started to mention Dan Marino. I do remember him doing some great commercials for isotoner gloves back in the 1990s, and he also gets kidnapped in Ace Ventura while shooting a commercial.
Yep.
Isotoners. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Definitely, I remember Ace Ventura.
Yeah. He says, and who could forget all of the Peyton Manning commercials? Some good, others not so much. I actually don't recall any Peyton Manning commercials. I'm not a big football person, though.
I'm not either. They're just big athletes enough that I know who they are, even by what they look like. Peyton Manning's he's terrible in front of the camera, actually.
Oh, wait, did he do some like insurance, like Allstate or I don't know.
I think
they all blend
Something
together.
very
Anyway,
dry.
Yeah. Okay, so he says, also going back to Rocky 1 and the scene where Rocky catches up to Mickey after lashing out at him, there are elevated train tracks high above the buildings at the back of the scene. It's hard to make out because of the darkness. As many people know, Philly as well as New York and Chicago have them. I remember riding one as a teenager when we visited my sister, and finally someone on the show didn't think Rocky ever wore underwear, but he does, in fact, in the scene where he's getting up for his first run, he's wearing blue briefs. Yep, I definitely remember that.
Of course you would.
Yeah. He covers up quickly, but it's there. Anyway, keep up the great work, Rob. Well, thank you for the email. I don't remember us talking about Rocky's underwear.
He is a podcast lover, to be fair, and he might have heard another podcast discussing that. I don't know if we ever did, because I don't remember having any feelings on the matter. I just assumed he would have. I saw it wasn't me. I don't think so. It might have been a different podcast. So, Rob, you're certainly allowed to listen to other podcasts. Just remember, we're the best one.
Yeah, of course. Right, yeah, but that's a great email, bringing back some fun memories. So, thank you, Rob. Yeah. Here's another one. This is from Timothy, who just commented. Hi, Timothy. Aren't you here now?
Yes, he's
here
now.
Same one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says, glad to have Yez back. I love it when people do that.
Yeah.
You must be from Ontario. He says, welcome to Ontario, Ryan. Great to have you, everyone, back. You talked about all 6 of your followers waiting patiently while Ryan was lollygagging across the country. Well, count me in. Now we're 7 strong.
Nice. All right.
Always enjoyed the discussion and the breakdown of the films. Cheers, Tim.
That's really nice to hear. Thanks. Yes. Tim. That always makes us feel good when we hear stuff like that. Yeah, I did announce that there was going to be some late episodes due to my travel across the country. And so when this one goes out, it's going to be... And people are going to hear it, but they're going to wonder why there was a break. Again, I was moving across the country, so I didn't get to record when I would like to with Katie and Kyle. So anyways, I just made the joke. Oh, to the 5 listeners out there on my socials who are, if you're wondering where the episode is, but it was nice to get the comments, and there are a few listeners, so we do appreciate that. And Tim's one of them. Now, Katie, you did miss one. Not you, but maybe I didn't send it to you, so I do apologize. I'll just quickly read it. It's from Simon, our filmmaker. He said, hi there. I was watching John Wick 3 and noticed a scene outside a library where some street singers are singing Take You Back. And he gave us the links in the email, and I watched them. I've seen John Wick 3, and I saw the same thing when I saw it in the theaters. These guys are just singing Take You Back. Doo, 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 doo. They're just street singing the song Take You Back. It's really odd. And it's twice. So John Wick goes into the building, does some stuff. He comes out of the building, and they're still singing the song. And he goes here also as a Brit, so he's British, of course. Insert bad teeth joke. Well, I already did earlier, actually. I beat you to it there. Yeah, I'm pretty embarrassed that my fellow countryman. Sorry, he's talking about Easy Maniac here. Sorry,
Oh, do we know Easy Maniac is
Kyle. I know you don't listen to the show, but I highly recommend you go listen to episode 14, at the very least, to the
Okay,
video
fine.
breakdown.
I don't listen to episodes I was on, right? Like, so I'm like,
that's
I
fair.
know what happened. I was there.
Well, I only listen to for quality control. I hate editing because I hate my voice. I hate listening to myself. I'm always embarrassed about how I sound. And anyways, so I don't listen to either, but I do because I have to listen to make sure it's the right episode that goes out. Because I've done it a couple times where I'll send out an episode. It's not even it's the raw one, not the edited one. You know.
Speaking of sending the wrong thing out, you know that meme I sent you guys, child abuse one?
Yeah.
I sent that to my grandma by mistake.
Grandma's
and then she video called me. She's like, I'm trying to see your photo, but I don't know how.
Oh my God, that's great.
She's like 95, right?
That's hilarious. Aw, poor grandma.
Speaking of Take You Back, that segues into the Family Stallone episode where Frank sings.
I thought it was Take Me Back.
No, it's Take You Back.
Okay, yeah. I believe you.
I forget the guy's name that did the Easy Maniac, his Facebook name anyways. His fake profile was from the UK, so that's what. So Simon's embarrassed. He's embarrassed that this fellow countryman created the video. So he goes, "I'm pretty embarrassed that my fellow countryman / AI bot made that lame Mickey Goldmill video, as covered in episode 14." He said. He goes, I would never make such an inaccurate comments about the classic Stallone franchise, about the Vietnam soldier who's frozen in liquid goo and awakes in the future and has to rock climb to save his mom from country and Western singers. That's the Rocky films, right?
Oh, fun.
Yes. So he goes, thanks for all the content. As always, keep moving forward, Simon. Thanks, Simon. And yes, Simon, one day we're going to watch your film. I promise. It's still in my email queue to watch your film.
Well, at least one of Simon's countrymen didn't put a basketball mascot in the hospital for no reason.
What was that from?
Conor McGregor, the Irish, he's a UFC fighter.
Yeah, I know who he is. Did he do that?
Yeah, he punched out, in Miami, he punched out their mascot for, no reason.
Oh, is that recent?
In, the ER. Yeah, that was, a couple days ago.
He's unable to control his temper.
Oh, boy.
I actually didn't hear about that, so this is news to me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for all the great emails. And before we get to, of course, the training montage of Rocky 2, and for the training montage, I will say we're going to play it without the music. It's going to be muted because really it's all exercise, but because it's so music heavy for copyright and what have you, it doesn't matter anyways. We all know we all know the musical cues.
I can make the music. Do 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 do.
Oh.
Wow. But if you want to watch it on our YouTube channel, of course, we'll be showing. But again, people have seen the show 100 times. We all know what it's like. But it's just an FYI when we get to that the music will be muted. Okay. All right. So, Katie, are you up to date on Family Stallone?
I actually watched the 4th one, I think, today. So,
okay.
Yes. Are you?
Yes. The 5th one's out.
Or maybe it was the 5th one.
It's one when Frank Stallone went to the podcast?
Yeah. Okay, so the 5th one then. Yeah. I'm
it was a great episode. You know what? All Sly fandom aside, I love him as a personality. I'm enjoying the reality show. It's fun to watch. As the shows have gone on a little bit, I think that less and less of it's quote staged. There were some real raw moments in part 5, I think, regarding Frank, regarding him feeling raw about not being invited on his niece's podcast to promote the documentary that he did with Derek Wayne Johnson. I believe he would have felt raw, about that. That Frank is a loose cannon. We see his tweets. We know his Instagram stuff that he can be a bit of a loose cannon. So the sisters, rightfully so, didn't want him to be on the podcast because he's a bit of a loose cannon. And thirdly, what I liked is Sly even said to them, he goes, I love how he's described Frank. He goes, Frank adds pepper to your life. And I really like that. He adds a little bit of pepper to your life.
I love that. That's such a nice thing to say about your brother. You know what I mean?
And he said, too, he goes, yes, he's a little bit Frank, but he's family. And I really thought that was great.
I agree with you there. There was a few redeeming moments. I'm liking it less with each episode.
Oh, really? Okay. Why?
It was literally anyone else. I wouldn't watch it. It's starting to irritate me because I am not feeling the sense that it's less staged. The Frank stuff, the way that he's portrayed is uncomfortable. The way that they don't know him, don't care for him. He's always the butt of joke. I was uncomfortable. He's keeps hinting to come on the podcast, and all the previous episodes, there's just things that show Frank to be a weird, creepy uncle that they don't know.
I think what you're experiencing is real. I think they're being kind to him, actually.
Maybe there's something about it that is like icky feeling to me. I'm not getting my words out
Interesting.
quite right.
I'm seeing it
then-
as that they're actually doing him a kindness.
I can see-
They're probably editing stuff out that we're not seeing.
I guess there are things purposefully that I'm like, oh, that was a weird edit. Why'd they say that specifically? I'm curious what the other listeners think as well. The other thing I noticed that really irked me was the deep sea fishing episode where there was this extremely staged empty nest syndrome when Scarlett, the youngest one, leaves the house to go to college. First of all, this isn't new. This is like her sophomore or junior year. So she's not like leaving the nest for the first time ever. They really played that up. And I was like, well, that's BS. And also these daughters, like one of them's probably almost 30. The moment that happened was 2 years ago or whenever. Like it wasn't.
What they could be doing in this situation is this is where reality shows get tricky is they probably did feel this way, but
they're
the cameras
recreating. And so
they're recreating a moment. That's right. So
and I didn't like that.
Sure.
Because it's not real. Like you're not experiencing that now. You experienced that 2 years ago.
Easy.
I'm not saying that the emotion of having an empty nest is like, that's
I never,
not what I'm saying
I never caught on to the years. Okay. Because I get mixed up with junior, sophomore and all that stuff. Because we don't say that.
Yeah. She's not like a newly going to college kid.
Oh, okay.
Also, she just recently turned 21. I know like they probably filmed this a year ago, but she's probably about done with college by now.
Well, we got with the Frank Stallone concert of September. I think it was September 22.
Okay. That felt really staged to me. It felt forced that Jennifer was saying, I don't know who I am without you kids. Let me try something new. And then there was a super staged deep sea fishing experience.
I think that was the most staged thing. I think the fish was fake. I think it was like half dead or something. It's weird.
There was a number of reasons why I didn't like it. It's like a canned scenario. If you're rich, you can pay.
Fair.
But it made me, I don't want to say think less of Jennifer, but that's not who she is. She doesn't not know who she is. And if so, that kind of does make me, I'm like, really? I thought you had this whole life of your own. Until now, she's like, oh, I have my own stuff going on. But so why'd you say in the reality show that you don't know who you are without the kid? I didn't like that. Okay. Maybe I'm just nitpicking.
No, I don't think you are. I just felt I felt episode 5 was just probably the best one so far.
Sly is the redeeming factor in all of it.
Every scene he's in is fun to watch.
Yes.
But I do have a source. And I messaged the source and said, hey, are you watching the show? So I want to know, are you watching the show? And he wrote back, says, no, I'm Stalloned out. He said, I'm Stalloned out. I'm not watching. I know I laughed. He goes, I'm not watching the show. I'm saying, okay, fair enough. I get it. Because I also wanted to mention something regarding Frank. But I said, well, the reason why I'm asking is because I want to know your thoughts on, despite things being staged, how accurate is their relationships being portrayed? Because he's been in their house, he's seen their family interact, he's seen the couples, he's seen Sly and Jennifer interact. He knows them. He can't speak to because he hasn't seen the shows. But then I did ask him, I said, in the show so far, they haven't gotten to the part of the separation yet because they were filming during the separation. They were actually filming during the separation. Mm-hmm. I speculated that I wonder if their separation was for the cameras because it might be a good cliffhanger because now it's been renewed for season 2, right? And then he wrote back, says, no, that separation was very real.
It would be weird to have it as a cliffhanger because we all know how it is resolved. Because
sure, but you get whatever the reason, cliffhanger or not. I wondered if the drama, because it's filmed, it's going to be on the show. But he wrote back and said, no, the two had nothing to do with the other. I.e., the reality show was being filmed, and their separation really did happen during that time.
And he already did cliffhanger anyway. So
there's another one now.
Well, cliffhanger 2 is being made. Cliffhanger 2 is being made. Okay, so there you go. I'm enjoying it. I get your criticisms, and I don't think they're not valid. Meaning, I hear you, but I guess it's like junk food. I know it's not good for me in the sense, but it's fun. It's still kind of just fun to watch them.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It is a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think more of it, that's why I wanted to talk to this individual. I wanted to have it verified how real the relationships were, because then I would enjoy it more. Mm-hmm. But I'm leaning towards that if the divorce or the separation was real, then I like to think that what we're seeing there is pretty real too. Their relationship with Frank and all those issues. Though things might be events might be staged, but what they're saying about each other is real.
There are some touching moments. I have nothing against Jennifer or the daughters, or I think they're perfectly fine.
I think that's right. I don't think there's anything.
It's very mediocre. Sly is the reason to watch it.
Sure, that's fair. That's our
job.
I'm
curious if anyone else feels like that they're able to articulate what I'm not able to better, because I just can't put my finger on what it is that makes me don't
About Frank?
know.
About the Frank?
The show in general.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know in comments or emails or whatever. What if you're not Team Katie, but if you're on Katie's wavelength regarding the show or Ryan's wavelength regarding the show, that I think it's getting better, or I'm just getting more immune to it. I don't know.
I'll still watch it. Like I will be
I know you are.
watching it.
I know. We need that voice, though. We need to have your voice. Okay. All right. Kyle's like, I'm not watching that garbage.
This. I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. We get to the part, of course, where Adrian says, we'll just play it a little bit. We'll get just that initial cue of that music because we'll psych ourselves up for it, okay?
Win.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
Okay, so Kyle, you weren't there for the discussion. So the captions from the Blu-ray say, take us, but it's pretty clear
that
Mickey
says, I thought.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other question we had during that was, do you believe he was handing over his glass to Paulie off screen there?
Yeah, I think so. That seems reasonable.
All right, so Rocky's happy that he gets to train. Now, it's funny that right away we have the one-arm push-ups. Sly actually said in 2006 or 8, he's hilarious. He said that he did the one-handed push-ups in Rocky on that website, Ain't It Cool News. He mentions to the guy doing the question and answer with him that he did the one-handed push-ups in Rocky, and he made the comment, but I never did them again. He said that in 2006 interview.
To be fair, this was decades ago from 2006. He probably just forgot.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. It's such a long time ago, but he edited this film. It's like
he probably doesn't watch this good movie anymore. He probably doesn't watch this show. Like he moved on with his life and he's doing something else, and then we're all watching the show.
It's actually true. There, like some of the emails we get, people will say things I've completely forgotten that we've said it on. So meaning the underwear. So like when Rob said you guys mentioned underwear, we could have very well said that.
Yeah,
but,
we just.
I remember him wearing underwear. Because I remember as a teenager sizing up Rocky's bulge.
You get some of that right here.
There's a lot of one-armed things. I don't remember that.
It's his left arm too, which is funny because he should be doing his right arm if he's going to be throwing those big right hands. He's a right-handed fighter.
Yeah, he's doing the one-arm push-ups, the one-arm pull-ups.
I'm sure he does both too, right? Like I'm sure he switches from right to left.
We get a red bandana in this training montage. He doesn't wear a bandana any other time, does he?
No, I think he is in Rocky 3. Definitely during the palatial gym training, he does. Okay,
so he has the win, Rocky in quotation marks.
Now, Kyle, were you a part of this discussion, I think, or was it just me and my brother Ruben, when we talked about this very scene here where Rocky has the shirt that Adrian gave him from the paper bag from grocery shopping, where it says win, and then in quotations, it's Rocky, win. So there's two theories here. One, the props department didn't know what they're doing. They just let it be. When you put quotations around something, it means sarcastic, almost like go get them or oh, sure. So it's win. That's definite win. But why is Rocky in quotations?
It's either a mistake or Rocky's not his actual name.
That's what I was going to go with. That's the second theory. Absolutely agree with you. So if it's a mistake, it doesn't make sense because in quotations, when we're reading a book, that's somebody saying those words, right? But again, the win, Rocky, win doesn't make sense. So like we're all saying win, Rocky, win, because that was what Adrian literally said at the hospital. That's the whole point of that shirt is she said win, and that's the shirt. Great. Good idea. So I love how Adrian says this, but she already had the shirt ready to go.
Yeah.
She planned this whole thing out.
Yeah.
She just likes to be in control. I think it's a mistake. You shouldn't put that in quotes. Putting it in quotes every time doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make sense, but I do agree with you, Katie. If you want to go into the canon of the films, we know his name is Robert. Rocky's a nickname that he chose for himself because Rocky Marciano. So there you go. He's not really Rocky. But
nowhere else, because we've seen his name in print many times.
Yes.
And it's not in quotations any other times.
Can I share a personal story regarding this shirt or a shirt like it? So 16 years ago, I went to Philadelphia by myself. I bought a Win Rocky Win shirt at this mall downtown. I was going to run up the Rocky steps and I'm like, I think I'm going to wear the shirt. And there's an actual video of me running up the steps. And so I changed in like the mall bathroom into the Win Rocky Win shirt. I felt really self-conscious walking around Philadelphia like that. And I did have some people outwardly make fun of me for it.
Aww.
Some kids.
Really? Why?
I don't know.
It's Philly. Aren't they used to tourists wearing stuff
That's
like
probably
that?
why.
Oh, you must be like a really big fan. I'm like,
sure.
I guess so. I should have kept the shirt, though. It wouldn't fit me anymore, but still.
I got teased wearing something when I was a kid. Same idea. I wore a Michael Jackson baseball cap. I'll never forget. I was like grade 2, like 8 years old, and I was at a summer camp, and I had this Michael Jackson baseball cap with his picture on the front of his face or whatever, because I was such a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I got harassed terribly.
Did it say "I survived Neverland Ranch"?
Yeah, I think I went to Neverland Ranch. All I got was his hat.
Oh, he probably got a bit more than that.
Yeah.
but-
Kids are just mean.
Oh, I know, but I took it off because I felt very, very sheepish. But I was like, but I like my Michael. It's so funny. We just can't like what we like. All right, so Mickey keeps telling him, go fast, pick up the speed. He's working the speed bag. He's punching the what do you call those again?
Punch pads.
Punch
Something
pads or
like-
something. Yeah.
something like
so
that.
Mike's doing a great job training. So Mike's a great trainer with Rocky. He does all the medicine ball lists with him. He does the pads.
That's John.
Oh, sorry, John. My apologies. Sorry. Mike is Jimmy as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
Mike / Jimmy. So one arm push-ups again. So like twice in the same training montage.
Can we please bring back the high striped socks and the high like boot style shoes that they used to wear
Yeah.
in boxing?
you-
I loved that look.
I want to comment about the weights specifically.
Sure.
So I read an article where someone brought a projector to Muhammad Ali's house, and they watched Rocky 2 with him. He was commenting on a bunch of stuff about the film, and he said that real boxers do not train with weights.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's currently what happens now. I have a feeling they probably do. But like all his training, and I guess back in the 70s, a lot of those guys, they did not do weight training. It's not calisthenics. What do you call it when you use your body weight? There's like a certain term for
Yeah.
that.
I forget what it's called too.
Resistance training, Pilates.
Yoga and
different.
Pilates is that type of training. Yes, where you're using your own body as resistance and strength training. Yeah.
Because the Apollo character is supposed to be based on Ali. You never see Apollo train with weights ever.
Because you'd have to lift weights to build muscle, don't you? No?
No, I don't think so.
Like bulk.
Like you can do body weight exercises pretty effectively. In the military, they do some weight training, but a lot of it, well, Ryan, you'd know, you do a lot of push-ups and other type of body weight training.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. With squats, planks. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali used to do chopping down trees and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure Stallone I don't know if he ripped that off, but like he
Heard about some of his training
which
techniques.
to be fair, it's fair game. It's fair game to do
Yeah.
that. Rocky's heavy into the weights, though. That's something Muhammad Ali called him out of that, which I think is kind of interesting.
Well, because it's Sly. It's basically Sly is doing weight training because he does weights, and I literally think it's him doing his weight training on film. He's two birds with one stone. He does weight training. That's what he does. We know that Carl Weathers would have had to as well. There's no way he has that build without doing weight training. There's no
I'm
way.
sure he did weight training in real life. Yeah,
But you're right. The Rocky character does weight. That's a good point, though. I never even thought about. Paul never uses weights on screen, and neither did Clubber Lang. I think all of his was he did the pull ups and the sit ups and
Yvonne definitely does.
yeah, for sure.
his were
Has
computerized.
supplements too.
Yes. Yes. Supplements. Yeah.
No, that was just the COVID flu shot that he took. That's
Yeah,
all that was.
the crucifix has been on full display this entire movie. This look is great, though. I love the wife beater.
Yeah, he's sweating good.
Yeah, he looks. I mean, not this exact shot yet, but yeah, he looks pretty good.
But I love how Mickey, of course, he's sweating too, but he's wearing his little snow cap toque. You know, he's still wearing that thing.
He does.
You
What-
can't say
what-
toque. You have to say beanie or something.
Well, it's a beanie for those Americans, but
Yeah,
for our
well,
Canadian
they-
listeners,
The majority of our audience is American, though, aren't they?
that's true. Yeah, but we're Canadian. The majority of the podcast hosts are Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 against 1. Sorry.
No, it's just I think they call it snow caps. I think isn't that what you call them, Katie? Snow caps?
I mean, a number of lots of different terms.
See,
but
that's what's
toque is-
funny. Toque,
We have a lot
it
of
works.
terms. Yeah, you're right.
It's
Because
just-
there's
that's the
slightly
word.
different styles. I would say this style is more beanie-esque than
It's a
we
thin
have
toque.
multiple names because they're slightly different in certain ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think toque is French, is the reason why we use it here. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not used in the U.S.
Tim, our fellow Canadian, of course, please, it's toque. We know, Tim. We know. This is where Mickey yells out, "Sweat that olive oil out of you." I think it's here or soon to be.
That's why he's getting racist. Saying
We brought
stuff
it up.
Like that. Oh,
we
okay.
did bring that up. Yeah.
The way that Easy Maniac was talking about racism was actual hatred, like not just on terms you wouldn't use today. You wouldn't say that today, but Mickey would, who was born in 1830.
1830.
Now you do this kind of fighting there, Kyle. Getting hit like that in the stomach while you're doing sit-ups is that really good for the stomach muscles? Pain resistance? Is that the idea?
I don't know if it's good, but you do have people hit you like that in karate. I don't know if I agree with it. It's not while you're doing sit-ups, but there is martial arts. My style, not so much, but there is other styles of karate where like they beat you with sticks and shit to like toughen you up. I think it's more to get you used to taking punishment to the body. But Muhammad Ali, he was very hard to hit in the head. He was really fast. And so a strategy fighters would use fighting him would be to try and slow him down by hitting him to the body, right? Which is Rocky's strategy too in this fight. And Ali knew that. And so he did extensive core training, which included him getting hit a lot in like the sides and in the abs and stuff like that. So Rocky getting hit like that, I think, is an accurate portrayal of boxing training in that time.
Look at Mickey's face here. Oh, that's a good one. So he is hitting that heavy bag with his left very hard.
No, I think those were just jabs.
Those are jabs?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are strong jabs to me.
He was doing 1 and 1. Left, right, left, right.
So Katie's favorite scene here. He finally catches the chicken. Katie, how do you feel about that? Look at him. He's so happy. He caught that chicken.
Well, it's better because the length of terror has been diminished because he catches the chicken right away.
The chicken's mental health was only marginally impacted this time.
And Mickey's happy about this because he's got that greasy lightning. What are they?
Speed. Yeah, fast speed.
I'm going to let people chase my son like this because he is really fast and hard to catch. And he likes being chased.
There you go.
By me, at least. Maybe not by strangers, but I'll be like, hey, if you can catch him, you can catch Creed or whoever you're fighting.
That's awesome.
Now, that's not a chicken feather in Mickey's cap.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
That's like a bird feather. I always thought of that as a chicken feather, but you're absolutely right.
You guys, I don't even think I've ever noticed it before.
I want to get on board with this weird guy that thinks Mickey's racist and just look for any semblance of him being racist. This is him appropriating Native American culture by putting a feather on his head like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Mickey is basically the KKK at this point, even though he's Jewish and they probably wouldn't let Jews in, but that's just details.
Just details.
Just details, man.
Back to the speed bag, which Sly loves to do.
He is good at it. He is good at it. Baby.
I always find this disturbing, going right to the baby like that. I find it too big of a transition. You're going to all this hardcore boxing training and you're getting pumped up, and then at this wussy kind of baby shit, like it's weird to me.
Look at him being a dad.
It's just too weird of a contrast.
I think it's on purpose. His life is full of that contrast.
Is Paulie at the house right now?
Because the car's there, do you mean? Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Paulie's helping watch the kid while Adrian maybe sleeps while Rocky does an early morning jog. There you go.
I doubt that, but
I'm sure Paulie just passed out drunk at Rocky's house and is still there.
So, of course, we get the second training montage. The first one was weights, speed bag, and all that good stuff.
We get the shot with all the training tracks, and now he's going through the same Italian market.
We know in the first film, again, art and life and art, right? Because in the first film, the gorilla shot the first film through the Italian market. Nobody knew Sly. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody saw Lords of Flatbush. Nobody saw him as the thug of Bananas. Nobody knew who Sly was. So when he was running down the street in that moment, if the first one, that was all like the guy throwing him the fruit, that was all real. However, there's a real moment here too that was not scripted, which I really like. Everyone here watching, you see how they have their hands in the pocket, what they're watching. Mm-hmm. They are aware this is being filmed. This is Rocky. That's Sly right down. There's a Rocky character. They know that. But there's a boy who runs out that gives Rocky a high five, or Sly.
Yeah,
that's real. That's not scripted. Yo, is any kids out there want to give me a high five? Because you could tell the glee on that kid's face that he got in and did it. It's like he broke free from his parents' grasp and did the watch.
That's so cool. That's great. It's like you're in that movie for life.
And we're talking about it now.
It's some bullshit little film. That's a film that people 40 plus years later are podcasting about and talking about now.
I wonder if that kid's still alive. Podcast. Yeah, I hope he's still alive.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up. There was back in when I first started this podcast back in the day, 5-6 years ago. Back then, it was a blue checkmark guy back then, by being verified back then. anyways, in his bio, he only had like 5,000 followers or whatever. And in his bio was, I'm that kid in the Rocky film. Now,
What?
not this kid. Now, I believe
different kid.
I
Oh.
believe he was referring to the kid at the end of the run who goes, go, 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 go.
Yeah, he's like
Oh,
faster
okay.
than all the other kids,
Yeah.
but still way slower than Rocky.
I reached out to him and said, dude, I want to hear your story about being that kid. And he said, sure. But then he never really too big for your britches. You can't, come on, man. Like, it's
I
pretty
know.
cool you're that kid, but how many people are reaching out to you for an interview on the podcast?
Right, unless
Anyway.
you're like have gone on to become like a working actor, which it doesn't sound like he has.
he wasn't. Yeah. Anyways.
Maybe he has social anxiety, Ryan.
Oh, please. Then he could have said that. He said he was going to do it, and then he
No
goes.
one, no one says they have social anxiety. If they
No.
Well, so I shouldn't say that actually.
If you're going to advertise you're that kid, you think someone's going to reach out and say, I'm that,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Why would you-
Advertise it. I know about that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so let's watch that kid. Watch his genuine glee when he actually gets Sly/Rocky's hand. So you could tell it was a real moment. The kid was so excited. Look, see, I just love his big, great, like, yeah.
In the same way as the first one, some guy throws him an orange or something. Now it's a kid. I love the Italian market running.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that still exists, like I know Rocky's at an Italian market in the later films, like Rocky Balboa. He's like buying stuff. Is that street still there? And it's still
I
have
think so.
open air shops and
Someone
if
from
we
Philly,
met up in
please let us
Philly, if we
know.
went
Yeah.
down that street, because
Yeah.
if we ever do go to Philly, we'd have to go
Hit up
there
all
if we
the-
still
yeah.
like that.
Now,
And
of
now
course,
they're,
this
like,
was planned, of
downtown,
course. Yeah, they
right?
have the street closed off. There are
Yeah.
no cars anywhere. Now, watch this, Ed. Apparently, he jumps over the same bench twice. Let me just see if we see
He
this.
does.
And this is Independence Hall. This is a big monument.
Right there.
Yeah.
It goes back. See? It does
There's
cut
two
back.
benches there.
There's a third.
Oh,
That's
okay,
right.
There's
yeah.
a third jump, and it's
It edits
not,
back.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So where he was there, that's where they signed the Declaration of Independence.
So here's the kid here. Let's listen to the kid say, go, go, go. That's all post editing too, or post production.
Yeah.
That's not him on the street because the kid's mouth there isn't even moving. So
Oh.
Sly brought in a kid to yell that. So
A different kid, do you
no,
think?
well, I probably. So there was a kid that does run fast on his own because they got the cameraman. There's one kid's like, I look how fast I can run, but eventually Sly breaks free from them, runs faster than the children. But they probably say, hey, that's kind of cool. That kid goes faster. Let's throw in that go, go, go kid yelling at Rocky to move fast.
The other thing I love about these scenes are seeing the time capsule of Philadelphia from 1970.
79,
But
yeah.
It was filmed in 79, but it's
Right.
supposed to be 1970. Yeah, 76.
Sure, yeah.
But like the cars, all the
Yes,
70s era
yeah, I love
cars
it.
is cool to see.
Like every decade has its own kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
And like you really feel that in this one. You could tell it's not 1976 anymore. Like it does have a later 70s feel.
Yeah. And the music that you and I both like, Kyle, that Ryan's not a big fan of at the
What?
beginning.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
so speaking of Jared, this is his favorite scene.
You
Poor
guys laughed
Jared.
way too hard about that.
Because we're men. Sorry, Jared. Poor Jared. He's going to ask for his episodes to be deleted from our feed. So, but why does Rocky? What is the meaning of the children? Why is that a thing in this? If this is a real world situation, when you have, it's just interesting how. I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool, but it is odd that we have all the kids running with Rocky. They're all
It's
there.
super odd because he obviously loves it. Like look at his face right now.
Why is it so odd? Because
Okay.
we see throughout the whole movie he's friendly with the neighborhood kids, and now he's kind of a local hero. And so they're like, "Oh, we'll help you run." Like it's supposed to be part of the inspirational.
Is Swifty in there? Remember Swifty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's odd that he's with children specifically. That's not the thing.
Okay.
It's just that he is training now. And like if you look back at the previous film, he was really upset when he had to do like the meat house interview because it threw his whole training schedule off. And so like personally, I think if you're training, you probably don't want a ton of kids chasing you. But you could argue that Rocky has grown since then and that he's taken on his new celebrity and he's a bigger person now and that he likes that he brings other people happiness.
I very much like that, what you just said. And then don't we transition now into this is like we've been building up to this moment. Yeah. I thought it was a nice cherry on top.
No, for sure. Well, let's look at. Okay, we'll end with the scene because now this is Apollo. Okay, he's got to show off his body though. Carl Weathers for sure.
Well, this is another stark transition to your point, Kyle. Like it was a crescendo, and then
I actually don't like that transition either for the same reason.
Yeah, it does seem odd. They're doing that big training. Yeah, elated moment with Rocky, and then you just have a grumpy Apollo grabbing Rocky's photo off the mirror and chucking it.
And we see a Rocky and Apollo in bed. I actually, again, I don't know why. I really like it.
You said Rocky and Apollo in bed.
Did I?
You wish, Katie. You wish.
Yo, can we get that scene, please?
Oh, it's coming. Rocky 3. We get something close to it anyways.
Oh my God. I can't wait for that. But I think it was because my brain, they're cutting back and forth between Apollo's solace, psyching himself up for the fight, as well as Rocky being all pensive in bed with Adrian. But I like the transition in that it's very realistic because instead of just, I think a lot of movies, they do the crescendo and then ding, ding, it's the fight. And this shows there is a moment that happens or a day or an evening in between where it's real.
What room was Apollo in? Now that I'm thinking about it, it has a fireplace, but then a ton of mirrors. Like what is that?
This is lovemaking room.
The mirrors in the ceiling too of us.
Yeah, it might have been like a vanity mirror in the bedroom.
So. But it seemed like a ton of mirrors. When I was a kid, for some reason, I thought that was almost like the dressing room or something. Although, like, of course, the dressing room wouldn't have the fireplace.
Yeah.
But
no. Well, maybe his does, but yeah.
And we do get a close-up shot of Apollo's glove necklace again, right there. So
that's what Mickey says. I gave it to some other bum, which we'll talk about in season 5. Okay. Kyle likes that one too, I think.
I love it.
All right. Well, that was actually just a really fun episode, guys. The next episode will be the last episode of the season. We are tying up Rocky 2 will be the final fight between the champion Apollo Creed and the challenger Rocky Balboa. Be interested to see who wins that one. Any final thoughts before we close our second last episode of the season?
I don't know if we will eventually, but if not, there was some talk about the recent news, somewhat recent news about Dolph Lundgren's cancer. It's hopefully, I don't think it wasn't publicly known, but then once it was made publicly known, he did a really great interview with Graham,
the British talk show host?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it was a great interview because he talks about a lot of things, but some stuff with Stallone. And I'm a big Dolph Lundgren fan, so I very much enjoyed it. And somebody on social media or somewhere. Do you remember, Ryan, what I'm talking about? Somebody mentioned that and wondered if we were going to be discussing it or not. But anyway, for anybody who's listening, if you look Dolph Lundgren interview with Graham, somebody.
I did do something pretty brutal, but I only did it with my brother. He sent me the news about Dolph's cancer, and I sent the GIF back. You know, the GIF, if he dies, he dies.
Oh my God.
Only a Rocky person.
Only a Rocky fan could do that. So Ruben sent me the news about his cancer, so I sent back the GIF of Drago say, if he dies, he dies.
I feel like Dolph would find that funny.
I'm sure he would. I probably wasn't the only one that thought that or did that, but I was brave enough to do it. I'm brave enough to admit that I did on this episode, but we wish Dolph all the best, and we're glad he's alive and well.
Some people are brave enough to come out as some people are brave enough to do this. Ryan's brave enough to
That's right. I'm the real hero.
About people dying.
I'm the real hero. Well, that's it. That's it for this episode. So great episode. Thanks for everyone to join us live or watch us on Patreon and on YouTube and listen to us on all the other ways you listen to us. Oh, send us an email. Support us via Patreon, email, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help the show. Numbers are going up slowly but surely. They've been going up. So keep sharing it, folks. We appreciate it.
Hey, I didn't hear no bell.
I just want to say